In a letter to the police, he wrote that he felt the most fear when his son called him while he was mutilating a body just to ask him if he still had a cold. That he ate the liver of some of his victims. His goal was to murder 100 people had he not been caught.
What does that achieve?
Who was he? Why was he doing this? And who was he targeting?
Spooky Silsila. Hey guys, and welcome back to Spooky Silsila. I'm Tanmay.
And I'm Niharika.
And this is the podcast where we talk about everything creepy,
Okay.
illegal,
Very, very haunted.
aliens,
And very crimey.
nice.
Yeah. Sometimes very not nice, actually.
Wide range of experiences. Yes.
Welcome.
Something weird that I came across this week. There was a UK ka paranormal specialist who around 2020 declared a lot of the old ghosts and people and like haunting creatures of the UK had now started to move on and were now leaving their hauntings. So there is fewer haunted places in UK as a whole now.
Should I do an episode of a haunting just in the UK out of spite?
अगली बार ओके
अगला एपिसोड ऑन मी यूके के नाम.
हम तुझे प्रूव करेंगे बूढ़े अभी भी हैं तो देख बट नहीं देयर जनरल कंसेंसस वाज जस्ट कि सिंस दोस घोस्ट्स हैव बीन अराउंड फॉर सो लॉन्ग दे आर फाइनली मूविंग ऑन एंड एवरीथिंग एंड ही ट्राइड टू कांटेक्ट ऑल दीस प्लेसेस एंड उनसे पूछ रहा था कि अभी भी कुछ हो रहा है. देयर लाइक नहीं सर कुछ नहीं दिख रहा. ऑल्दो दे आर होपफुल कि दे माइट कम बैक लेटर ऑन बिकॉज दे अट्रैक्ट अ लॉट ऑफ टूरिज्म फॉर द यूके.
What does this mean?
आके अपनी रूह को तड़पाओ हमारे घरों में ताकि हमारे को पैसा मिल सके.
Okay, England.
टिपिकल बिहेवियर. उस भूत को भी उठा के अपने उसमें म्यूजियम में रख लेंगे ये लोग.
R.I.P.P.
RIP से याद आए आपकी स्टोरी वाज सपोजिटली समथिंग विद अ लॉट ऑफ RIP.
Yeah, you guys. Okay, strap in. Buckle up. क्योंकि आज की story is taking us to South Korea. A devastating true crime tale. Which even when I was writing all of it down, ये बंदा सुनाए कैसे?
आई थॉट साउथ कोरिया में सिर्फ K-pop होता है.
Not really.
उनका K-pop और उनकी वो बहंगा टाइगर इज द ओनली थिंग आई लाइक.
When you think of South Korea, what do you think of?
Okay, I think about a very restrictive society जिसके businesses control everything. जहाँ पे now even North Korea has declared like अपना ही independence from them.
When you think about South Korea in general, you think about world-class skincare, you think about kimchi, gochugaru, and all these like yummy foods that people enjoy and all of that. And tech products, you're thinking of Samsung and all these other companies.
मतलब आप काफी light and positive में डाल रहे हो. मैं तो बोलूँगा ये सारा उनके negative में भी है but okay.
Another thing that stands out about South Korea and globally is very well known is a very low crime rate.
Actually, I would just like to add something random here.
Okay.
What I think about when I think of South Korea is Exhuma. Amazing movie, please watch. Absolutely loved it. One of my top rated horror movies. Yes, South Korean.
Was it South Korean? I thought it was Japanese.
आंखें बंद थी क्या देखते हुए?
No, definitely खुली थी.
It is entirely South Korean. It is about Japan's trauma on Korea that leads to the entire
That's
story.
true. Oh my God, that's true. Okay, South Korea. Okay. So the last thing that I said was that there is a low crime rate in South Korea, and this is a fact that is very well known about the country globally. But underneath all of this, underneath what makes South Korea popular in the world, once in a blue moon, a violent crime has rocked the nation. So today we are talking about Yoo Young Chul, the raincoat killer of South Korea, a serial killer who murdered 20 people before he got caught, and had he not been caught, his goal was to kill 100.
I think we can all say काफी चुल थी इस आदमी में. Thank you.
Abhi crack all the jokes that you want to crack. This is going to get dark like now. His goal was to murder 100 people had he not been caught.
What does that achieve?
Who was he? Why was he doing this? And who was he targeting? This case starts on the Wednesday morning of September 24th, 2003 in the capital city of Seoul. when a 72-year-old university professor, which is, wow, Lee Deok-soo, did not show up to work. His colleagues became really worried after a couple of days, saying, ki, yeah, this is a very reliable member of our staff. Why is he not showing up? So this continued for some time, to the point that they ended up calling the police for like a wellness check on the professor and his family. The police found the professor and his wife, Lee Yoon-ok, beaten to death with potentially a 4-kilo hammer. The theory was that Professor Lee was first stabbed in the neck and then bludgeoned to death with a hammer.
Stabbed in the neck and then bludgeoned to death.
Yeah.
On a regular investigation, you would assume this was personally motivated because he went to such extent.
On Thursday, the 9th of October, Yoo Young Chul struck again. 80-year-old grandmother Kang Yoon-sun, her daughter-in-law, and her handicapped grandson were found bludgeoned with a hammer. Nobody survived.
Again, same. That's his MO.
And uske ek hafte baad, this man is on a roll. There are barely any breaks. In the week that followed, Yoo attacked 60-year-old Yoo Jun-hee. She survived briefly and she was found by her son at 1:30 in the afternoon, and there was barely any time to get her any kind of medical support. By 2 o'clock, she'd passed away. She'd been hurt so much physically that there was no way that she could have survived that sort of assault.
But the fact that it happened in the afternoon means man does not care.
Yeah. Now we are in November of 2003. And on the 18th, Yoo burned down a house to destroy DNA evidence. This only happened because he used his hammer to bludgeon Kim Jok-suk, an 87-year-old woman and her housekeeper. But in the process, he accidentally cut himself while trying to get inside a safe. Okay? So he set the whole house on fire.
Outright daft nahi hai, but that is leading to that malicious side of him.
Yeah.
कि मतलब घर जलाने की कोशिश करी to hide evidence. Also, piece of shit going after old people.
That is what I was coming to. So the pattern here, like his MO, like it's not obviously, I don't know, rocket science to tell, is using a hammer, bludgeoning people, and them being wealthy, elderly people.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the puzzle piece that was missing so far was that these people were well off. But why was he attacking just these people? Like, what was his motivation? Yoo was born in 1970. When he was a young child, his parents split up and he grew up in poverty. His family environment was very tense, money was limited, and he ended up being bullied in school for this. His hatred for rich people grew from that point, and he was also very jealous of a wealthy family that used to live close to where his house was. He was just very bitter. अंदर से he was just like हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है, आपके पास सब कुछ है. I exist in society and वहाँ पे बच्चे आके मतलब मेरी काटते हैं. And that was just his life, right? The other thing that is really dark from his early years is that his maternal grandmother said because of the life that they were living, because of their household environment, the lack of resources and everything, she considered killing him because he was such a strain on his mother's life from the very beginning. He was a burden, and that is what he was thought of by his family as well. As he grew up, people say that he had a strange personality, which makes complete sense. And eventually what followed was an early life of crime. In 1988 to 1998, basically from the time that he was 18 to the age of 28, he had been charged for theft, forgery, identity theft, and selling child sexual abuse videos. He also served around 3 years in prison during this period. This was not the only thing that was happening in his life during this time. In 1991, he had married his girlfriend, who was a massage therapist, and they had a son together.
Hmm.
She went on to divorce him in October of 2000 because he was arrested for the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl, for which he went to prison again for 3.5 years.
Do we have any more information on his childhood?
No, that's pretty much it.
Because अभी के लिए तो it seems to typically follow the क्या बोलते हैं serial killer handbook of abused by family, negligence and more. There must be, because there's always that aspect of even head injuries and वैसे वाली.
I'm not entirely sure if there was abuse in the household.
That's still emotional abuse, no?
With the grandmother, sure.
It's not just grandmother. If the grandmother has the wherewithal to act that way, then the parents are complicit to some extent.
मैं बोल रही हूँ बहुत explicitly बोला नहीं गया है कि
हाँ,
there was harm done to him by his own family actively. What was happening in school was a different story. What he was noticing in his environment was a very different story. And he was genuinely struggling despite whatever was there for him in the world, which was not a lot. In 2000, his wife left him. She divorced him. She was a massage therapist. And he went to prison for 3.5 years. And this brings us back to 2003, when he was released on September 11th and started committing crimes against the elderly that we've spoken about so far. On the 24th of the same month, he was just like, okay, I can't wait to like get out and start doing this bullshit. So after committing those 8 initial murders within those like 3 months, starting in September and November tak hum pahunche the.
Okay.
Right? After committing those 8 initial murders, where he bludgeoned people and their families between September to November, he decided to take a break and started posing as a cop to extort money. During this time, he used to invite escorts to his apartment, and that is how he met his next girlfriend in the December of 2003. This relationship was very, very short-lived because as soon as she found out about his criminal record, she dumped him.
Sensible lady.
And asked him never to call her again.
Did he try to kill her?
Well, this lit a match for sure.
Yeah.
In Yoo Young Chul, he was angry. He wanted revenge in his own way. So,
उसमें not lit a match. क्या बोलते? Say it.
I will not.
Say it.
I refuse.
चोल मच गई. Thank you.
So he wanted revenge in his own way. He focused his attention this time on escorts. Vulnerable women who society did not really care about very much. On March 16th, 2004, now we're in the next year. So, December mein he met his girlfriend. They had a few short months together, and then he was back on his killing spree. So in March, he choked Kwon Jin-hee, dismembered her corpse, and dumped the remains next to Sogang University. He followed up this attack with the murder of a street vendor called An Jae-sun on 13th of April, which
Another
is...
lady?
No, this is a street vendor. It's a man.
Dude? Okay.
And he killed him for selling him fake Viagra.
ये कितनी Viagra खा रहा था if you could tell if it was fake?
इन्हें कुछ हो नहीं रहा है.
Taste अच्छा नहीं.
Yoo had wrestled the vendor into his own van, handcuffed him and killed him. He then sawed off his hands and threw them away in a plastic bag and set the van on fire.
Why did he saw off his hands?
I have a theory, though it's not been spoken about, but I want to kind of get into this, okay? So it feels like you had a very strong feeling of being wronged by the world, right? The rich for simply existing because he wasn't
rich. There's a consistent pattern through.
Yeah, because he wasn't rich. Women for leaving him when he wasn't ready to be left. Even this vendor who sold him Bakwas Viagra, you felt right in taking his life and cutting off the hands which sold him the drug. This is my theory, by the way. Like, this is not something that like reports are speaking of in this sense.
Doesn't seem very out of no, on brand.
And it just feels like Yoo's rage, jealousy, and bitterness ruled his life. And nothing could stand in his way if he wanted to hurt people.
But इसके केस में तो ये भी लग रहा है कि He started off with his childhood motivations of बूढ़े लोगों ने मेरे साथ गलत किया था तो उनके साथ मैं गलत करूंगा. Then किसी लेडी ने कुछ मतलब उसको छोड़ दिया तो अब मैं लेडीज को भी कुछ करेगा. Now he's going there. अब मेरे को नकली वायग्रा वालों को भी मैं कुछ करूंगा.
हाँ नहीं, so that is what I'm saying.
Initially, I thought it was going to be like a spree of murders on like one trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it seems like रास्ते में जो भी आ रहा था बस सीधे अपने उसमें like he was judge, jury, executioner, and anybody who came in the middle of it had nothing to do with what his plan was. It was purely opportunistic.
Honey, it very much was, because that's what I'm saying. I feel like it was very easy to hurt him. It was very easy to make him feel like he did not matter, or that if he was in the most mild way wronged, that deserved the harshest consequence. And he was just like, koi mere liye stand up nahi karega. There is nobody in this world who's going to do this. And I have a desire to inflict pain. So here we go. This is what I'm going to do.
Often the case with that kind of mental torture from childhood and aise wale.
This bitterness is just swirling around him and it's ruling his life, and he's committing all these crimes against people. Okay. So in May 2004, he had killed the vendor, just to remind you, in April, 13th April. Okay? And in May, he lured a 25-year-old escort into his apartment, bludgeoned her with his hammer, and decapitated her in his bathroom. He went on to bury her remains. Following this, between May and July 2004, he killed 9 other sex workers in the same way.
May, June, July, May, 3 महीने में 9.
After the one that I've already told you.
But technically 10. Close to.
By counts, 11. What he would do is that he would call them from the soul massage parlors. So these massage parlors would not only give massages, but then it would turn into like a full sexual experience kind of a thing. So that is where the pimps used to be. He would call these soul massage parlors and he would organize to meet these women. These women would come to give their services and would never be seen ever again. And the only people who knew were the massage parlor owners, who were just left wondering that, hey, we didn't see this girl again. We didn't see this woman again.
But that also means he's probably calling different parlors to call different women so that it doesn't become too obvious right off the bat. But otherwise, I would assume कि एक जगह से 2 बार कर दिया तो then they would be like ये तो same बंदे के पास गई और गायब हो गई.
But he wasn't like calling from like a consistent number. It is said that he was calling from like public pay phones and things like that. Yoo was committing all these crimes against the elderly, the women, in different parts of the city, and not only had his MO changed between the killings of the elderly victims and the initial escorts that he had killed, he had also taken a break when he met his girlfriend in December 2003 and shifted to extortion instead of murder. Long story short, the police was not catching on. They were not sure if this was one person doing this or many different serial killers committing these crimes. They had also hoped that the killer had stopped in December 2003 or vanished from the city when you had taken that break in December.
ये ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है? ये पुलिस बहुत कोशिश नहीं कर रही. They're just hopeful कि I think चला ही गया होगा. हाँ, चला ही गया होगा. ठीक है.
Cannot stress enough how incompetent the police was in this case.
You often see this with countries that have like a very ऐसे controlled societies, no? कि उनकी पुलिस फोर्स जब अचानक से कुछ ऐसा हो जाता है ना, बहुत ही ऐसे हक्के बक्के हो जाते हैं कि करना क्या है, क्यों करना है.
So the police had no idea what to do about these murders. The victims didn't seem to be related to each other. अब मतलब अगर सिटी के एक साइड there is an elderly person who is being, you know, bludgeoned versus somebody else in a different part of the city, there is no way to connect these two. They were just not catching on, and nothing had been stolen from these people. All the police had at this juncture was bad CCTV footage and a few footprints from when Yoo was attacking the wealthy elderly people.
He didn't steal anything.
Nothing.
तो सेफ क्या करने का खोल रहा था बेवकूफ?
पता नहीं. So initially, with like the first few murders, he tried to set them up as like a robbery gone wrong kind of a thing. But then what ended up happening was when they came to see if anything was stolen, nothing was stolen. So you can't set something up as a robbery and then not steal anything and just be like, actually chori hui thi. Having said all of this, how did this man get caught? Someone was paying attention while you was being careless. He used one of his victims' phones to call a massage parlor. The number was immediately recognized by the owner of the parlor and the police was notified.
The owner knew that the person had died, and when the call came in, they notified the police.
So the owner was suspecting that something was happening. All the massage parlor owners, they were suspicious. There was a growing suspicion that something was going wrong with all these women.
Okay.
Okay, because आपकी अगर across how many ever parlors, if 9 women have gone missing and you never hear from them ever again, that's a problem.
Yeah, that will immediately raise red flags with the community as a whole.
Yeah, even if they won't like go out of their way to trust the police. So they were paying attention. They were being more, I don't know if vigilant is the word for it, but they were being more attentive. That's pretty much it. Okay? So the number was recognized by the owner and the police was notified. This part of the story, it genuinely feels like it was written by a police-hating comedy writer. So the officer who was sent by the police left before you even arrived at the motel where he was supposed to meet his new victim.
Okay. Wait, the officer left before he...
Yeah.
Did he not know how to read a clock?
I don't know.
Was it just a child in a policeman's uniform?
I don't know. And so this man left and it was the massage parlor employees who detained you till the police arrived again.
बहुत बढ़िया मसाज मिली भाई को उस टाइम पे नीचे लेट आके जो दे दनादन शियाट्सू मिला है ना भाई को वहां पे.
They took you into their custody and were at the police station उस time पे. This is not the massage parlor people. I'm sorry if that's not clear. It was the police.
Okay.
Okay. And they took him to the police station. This part, my God. When Yoo Young Chul faked a seizure and was released from his handcuffs, while the police scrambled to get him medical help, you got up and ran away and escaped their custody for 12 hours.
Thank God that it was followed by hours and not days.
I mean,
आधे दिन के लिए तो
सवाल क्या था? How do you run out of a police station without being stopped by other officers who exist there?
I mean, अगर जैसे मानो इसे गेट के बगल वाले बेंच पे बैठा रखा है, then you're like, अच्छा ये ऐसे कर रहा है, उसको खोला एक्सीडेंटली. एक सेकंड पहले पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रही है, अब तकेशी कासल शुरू हो गया है अचानक से.
मुझे इतना बुरा लग रहा है ना laughing at anything during the story, but okay. We will power through.
I also know Takeshi's castle is Japanese. Thank you.
So this man is gone for 12 hours. Eventually, he gets caught again. And this is when he's finally arrested. Thankfully.
Okay.
Okay. He went on to confess to all of his crimes. He also led the police to the bodies of his victims. While this was happening, he was dressed in a yellow raincoat. And the media dubbed him the raincoat killer. Yoo Young Chul revealed a lot of things in custody. Beyond what I've already told you about the location of his victims and all of that he was already helping the police with. He said he was sorry for what he had done, but he would have kept killing if he hadn't been caught.
The candle is very disappointed in Chul.
Yeah.
I hope at least उसको पकड़ के थोड़ा बहुत मारा पीटा होगा जिससे ये कन्फेशन मिली, नॉट जस्ट पकड़ लिया इमीडिएटली मैंने बहुत लोगों को मारा है, मैंने इतना ही कुछ कर दिया. like
There are definitely reports of torture, and the most widely reported parts of the case don't actually get into that. Some of the niche reports actually get into the fact that he was tortured. Okay.
Appreciate it.
for the confession, which is not ethical.
Ethical, yeah.
Yeah.
India is also in the same ballpark there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He confessed to killing 26 people, which included random people who were neither sex workers nor the elderly.
The Viagra guy and SL.
Sure. Okay. But then he was also saying a bunch of other things that not all the reports had consensus on, but I want to tell you anyway, which was that he ate the liver of some of his victims. This has not been proven. So the cannibalism aspect of this case has not been proven.
He said so.
He said
But the police report doesn't.
no. Also, he took credit for murders that were being simultaneously committed by other serial killers. So he committed these crimes literally over like a 10-month period. September 2003 it started with the university professor, and in September 2004 was when his trial finally began.
Okay.
So July-ish he had been, caught. So that is 10 months. During his trial, he said, "The media keeps saying that I've murdered so many people. But to me, it was only a start. I had no intention of stopping the killing." In a letter to the police, he wrote that he felt the most fear when his son called him while he was mutilating a body just to ask him if he still had a cold.
All of a sudden, he was reminded of his humanity, so it broke the veil for a minute and then...
Yeah. He also confessed to wanting to kill his wife for leaving him, but then he left her alive for the sake of his son. Okay?
He didn't go after the girlfriend.
He went after people who were like her.
He's a little hard to understand because what is his intent behind continuously telling the police कि अगर तुम मेरे को नहीं रोकते मैं और मार देता, अगर नहीं रोकते मैं और मार देता. Like, what is the thing there? Is it guilt? It doesn't seem to be the case. So what is his thing? It's ego?
I guess so. Like he was apologetic, but then he wasn't remorseful about
जो हो गया.
What he had done. He apologized to the families of the victims who were there in the court, but he was just like, अगर तुमने नहीं रोका होता, I would have continued to my goal of 100.
But never said why 100.
He had also, when he was incarcerated, he had been, motivated by reading about other serial killers who had been active before him. So it felt like this is my theory, it felt like a way that he could express all the rage that he was holding on to in his life. And he was just like, this is for me. This feels like something that I want to do for myself. Which is a very messed up way to view the world for sure. And this was how he could take revenge on everything that he had been jealous of. Be it people with money, be it women who left him, all of that. Okay? What is interesting during this period is that Korea had just begun criminal psychology, key study, and criminal profiling in 2001.
Okay.
Most people thought that criminals like you would have a reason behind their crimes. Like they needed money or they had a fight with someone, तो इसलिए उनके साथ लड़ाई हो गई, whatever, उनको मार दिया, things like that. But it was with this case that psychopaths like you were clinically assessed and diagnosed.
Okay.
So they could prove, like with personality assessments and stuff, that
उनको अपना sample मिल गया, sample piece ये था.
Sure, that like his he had antisocial tendencies.
Yeah.
Which pointed towards psychopathy.
Basically like mind hunters and how they developed their version through Kemper, they got their guy.
Yeah.
And he was more than willing to blabber, I'm guessing.
Yeah. During his trial, he was disruptive. Quite disruptive. He lunged at 3 judges. a hearing in October, literally a month after the trial had started, was delayed because he had tried to end his own life the night prior.
Yeah, not surprising.
Okay? He also attacked a spectator in the courtroom who had cussed him out, who had cursed at him. So
Okay,
this man, honestly, like emotionally is so fragile. Finally, on December 13th, 2004, Yoo Young Chul was convicted of 20 homicides and sentenced to death, for which he thanked the court. In an interview, a police officer who was involved in the investigation, this type of case was unprecedented in Korea at the time. There were clearly major flaws between the police system in Korea at the time. The police force only worked in their own districts. Like, अगर मेरा थाना यहाँ पे है तो मैं इधर ही काम करूँगा. 2004. I'm actually getting to other things also.
कैसा पुलिस ऑफिसर बनेगा रे तू?
This feels cultural, especially my next point. So they were limiting themselves to their own districts, and there was no sharing of information inter-district.
Oh, okay.
ठीक है? And even if information was shared, it was just about the successes, never about unsolved cases.
Competitive but not
intelligent.
Yeah.
ठीक है? It was after this case that the Korean police went through a major restructuring. Nobody is surprised. Finally, if you are wondering how Yoo died, he didn't. The death sentence was put on hold, and even today he remains in prison as Korea continues to debate whether to allow capital punishment in the country or not. And this was the story of the raincoat killer.
Fair. I think करके देखो, मजा नहीं आया तो मना कर देना.
हाँ पहले.
क्या capital punishment?
Yeah.
Ah.
And then as their rulership changed, they basically said कि hey listen, we need to look at this on ethical grounds. And I think around somewhere in the 1990s, this sort of became it flipped.
वो ethical grounds I understand for accidental and ऐसे वाली death categories. Ethical grounds for serial killers seems to be a very weird argument for me. कि मतलब ये आदमी ऐसे 20-30 लोगों को मार रहा है and then you're like on ethical grounds can we kill him? Of course we can kill him. He is now sample piece. He is now lab rat. Try new methods for him. These are people I would not bat an eye if you did illegal medical experimentation on. ठीक है? They should be considered as free this thing. Once it is proven, एक बार तुम्हारा 110% है कि यही है. Free reign. ऐसे पकड़ो और फाइजर के क्लिनिक में फेंक के आ जाओ इसको.
So some people are very anti that.
Thank you.
Which was around 23% of Koreans or something like that. I'd seen in.
I'm clearly saying for serial killers. I'm not even saying murderers.
No. I am. That is what I'm talking about.
ऐसे?
So in Korea, at this juncture also, there are 60 death row inmates.
Okay.
And this debate on the basis of ethics is still alive and well. So I understand कि कोरिया की आवाम क्या सोच रही है and क्या मन है.
I mean 60 from a population of what?
Millions.
Yeah, I mean let's just because you get a better understanding कि कितना ही वो है. 51.6 में से 60 लोग. Clearly, Korea, I am on the side of capital punishment here. So,
which more than 60% of Koreans
agree with,
according to a survey that was done. I think it was a Gallup survey. But I think bigger life and death questions like this need more contemplation. And I understand why a body like the Supreme Court or any other such judicial body would hesitate to act act the way a killer would act and be very volatile and trigger happy about.
It isn't about being trigger happy. What is the net positive of not giving any that sort of a punishment to an individual who has gone about flaunting and basically reducing the value of your own citizens to nothing?
Fair enough. That is also a perspective to have. But I understand why this is a debate.
I agree. I can understand the debate. I just feel there is a line which once crossed cannot grant individuals like these the benefit of being treated with the same respect as the rest of humanity.
Which is why they're caged and kept away from society.
Sure, but so are the people who probably stole a loaf of bread. So those don't deserve the same kind of punishments, do they? That is where that also happens, right? We can't simply draw a line कि अब ये criminal है तो सब एक है.
ये सब एक हैं वाले तो नहीं है. डेथ रो वालों को मैक्सिमम सिक्योरिटी में रखते हैं.
और खाना देते हैं और ये करते हैं.
Sure, but
शक की पिसवाओ.
But there is an ongoing debate, and it makes complete sense why it exists. So let's see where Korea lands eventually, and what they decide to do with these people as they continue to serve their life sentences.
But yeah, Chalo. I hope you enjoyed the story, and we will bring you more weird nonsense next time. आपके क्या debate है on these ethics? Please comments में. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye bye.